Good morning, Canada, and welcome to the weekend edition of Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
I'm Lindsey Deluce. Thanks for starting your day off with us.
Today on the show, we are looking at how AI could reshape manufacturing this year.
We're also going to be joined by Canadian actor Jonathan Kim for a new film that was shot in Winnipeg. It's called The Mother and the Bear.
And before we get to all of that, we have the latest research and mixed messages around drinking and a look at the ways alcohol affects our bodies, our brains, and why experts agree that no amount is risk-free.
Well, it is January, known by many as Dry January, where people choose to cut out alcohol for the month. But what does the science say about your alcohol intake? This documentary finds out.
Cheers, buddy. When I drink, I tend to tell everybody that I know that I love them. I was thinking I should tell this guy I love him. So, yeah, I drink. I enjoy.
The new science of alcohol. Anthony Morgan takes a deep dive into how drinking affects our bodies, brains, and why experts agree that no amount of alcohol is risk-free. Anthony joins me in studio this morning without the headgear. Little disappointed, I will say. Wish you had worn that. Great to have you.
Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, really excited to be here.
So let's talk about the fact that I think it's important to point out that you and the experts that you spoke to all drink alcohol.
Everybody.
You're not up on a sober soapbox, so to speak.
Not at all.
By any means. This is a conversation about risk, but it's also about benefit. So let's talk first about the risk. What are we looking at here?
Sure. So we know from the largest study ever conducted, it was done by Dr. Anya Tapiwala in the UK with this massive sample size, 35,000 people, most we've ever studied, looking at moderate drinkers, that even moderate amounts of drinking, moderate amounts of alcohol, meaning like 1 or 2 drinks a week, does substantially raise your risk of cancer. So there is no safe level of alcohol to consume, which for me personally was kind of a bummer because, you know, I, like a lot of people from time to time, enjoy a drink, but the data's clear, there is a risk in doing that.
And 1 to 2 drinks, hearing that that's the moderate amount, I think is also eye-opening for a lot of people.
It blew me away. That was part of what started this whole journey for me, was that the original guidelines from Health Canada said that 15 drinks a week. So maybe a beer or a glass of wine, that's something like a standard drink. 15 of those a week and you're good. You don't have anything to worry about. And then when this new study came out, we updated those guidelines and revised it down from 15 to 2, and it made headlines across the world. This came out in 2023. But then what was odd to me was that these guidelines say 15 a week, downgraded to 2, but both are still sort of in place. And so a lot of Canadians like me were kind of wondering, well, what is safe to do? What am I allowed to do? Where should I be aiming for?
What about on the other side of things? Was there any benefit at all to alcohol consumption?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have heard about the benefits, which is part of the reason that many of us still do enjoy a drink. We've heard that red wine could be good for your heart, and it's good for your social life. And although there is a benefit to drinking red wine for your heart, it is by far outweighed by the risks. But the main reason that a lot of people like to drink is obviously that it's a social lubricant, right? It makes you feel all loosey-goosey, relaxed, and chill with friends. And there does seem to be data that supports that. I mean, I tried this crazy experiments in Chicago where they put this giant headset on me, covered in electrodes, poured a bunch of goop in my head, and they wanted to measure to see whether we could see the indicators of that social kind of synchronization, right. They wanted to measure that in our brains. So they sat me down with this guy in a lab. They put these things on our heads, and then they gave us, basically, they plied us with medical grade alcohol.
Delicious.
Yeah, so I'm talking like 100 proof vodka. They're like, hey, drink this. And then they sit us in this room and just kind of watch us talking to each other. And it was such a surreal experience. I could never have imagined that that's how we study the effects of alcohol in the body, but it was a good time. It was fun.
What did your brain scans show?
Yeah, so we found that you actually do start to synchronize your brain waves over time. At least myself and my new friend Johnny did. And I could feel that in the room too. I think I told Johnny I loved him. And I just met him. I get real friendly when I drink. But the data for that study is not all collected yet, so we still don't know, but at least in my case, we did definitely see some synchronization, which is really exciting.
Ultimately, once you talked to all the experts and you received everything that they had to say, what was the final word from experts regarding alcohol consumption?
Well, so the final word was that it's up to you and up to me and up to all of us, that alcohol, like many things in life, comes with some risks, But I asked all of them, and this surprised me, that I asked them, you understand the risks of drinking better than anybody. Do you still drink? And uniformly, every expert I talked to said, yeah, I still enjoy a glass of wine at dinner or a beer on the weekends from time to time. That I know that alcohol comes with risks, but just like driving or flying in planes, there are some risks that I'm willing to tolerate. Yeah, so.
You know what, Anthony, I love that as a fellow science communicator and science lover that you dove at it from that perspective, because what a fascinating way to look at it. Thank you for coming on today.
My pleasure.
Coming up, from increased automation to more robots on the factory floor, how artificial intelligence will transform the manufacturing sector this year.
As long as human beings want to buy something better, people will know how to produce better things, the jobs will show up.
As the AI race heats up, experts are predicting this year is going to see major changes to manufacturing. From increased automation to more robots on the factory floor, 2026 is shaping up to be a transformative year for the sector. Joining us this morning is Doug Milburn. He's the co-founder of Protocase. That's a Canadian aerospace manufacturing company. Doug wrote an article for Industrial Equipment News on how AI is going to reshape the industry, and he joins us this morning. Welcome.
Hello there, Anne-Marie. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm curious to know your answers to some of my questions here. First of all, it's already here, so tell us, where and how is AI being used in manufacturing?
Well, AI, it's fascinating. You know, we look at AI and, AI's technology has really, really matured. And, but the talk, today of AI, look, the futures, we talk the futures. Where's it going to go? We all know AI is powerful. Everybody uses AI today in your search engines or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But it's yet to really make serious inroads into things like, into where we work in the aerospace world. But I really think that this year, you're going to see some movements in AI. And they're not going to be what people think, like sweeping job losses and radical changes and things like that. But rather, I think what you're going to see AI do, AI is best used as an assistant to human beings, but especially in things like aerospace. If we go into something like, say, law, I think you're going to see in the legal profession, you're going to truly see sweeping changes in it. Aerospace is different. There's fundamental reasons for the difference. But what it will do, think of AI as being a human being's savant, tireless assistant. And I think that's how you're going to see it come in.
Yeah, you've talked in this article about how it's an assistant and not a replacement. But what does that collaboration look like then on a factory floor?
Well, you know what, the factory floor, the machines, it's not going to directly impact, when we bend sheet metal, we apply coatings, we cut blocks of metal. It's not going to directly affect that. It's the control of it. It's that flow of information from the customer all the way through that process. And people think of it, you think of the factory floor, but there's all this work that gets done in behind, from regulatory to engineering to work instructions to programming. That's what it's going to affect. And companies are really, look, everybody's in the race right now to figure out how to use it. And, there is not much impact on the ground today. And those who figure out how to do it are, it's a race and everybody wants to win the race. So, but, it's fairly clear to me. Look, you know what? AI excels in places where the solution set is broad and they're overlapping and there's a million input variables. Not to get too complicated about it, but I'm describing law there again as one example.
Right.
You can make a million different legal arguments about something. In aerospace, it's very, very precise. AI actually struggles because of the nature of it. It struggles in that kind of world. But there are so many other tasks that people do that it will help. And they're in the world of the mundane. We all go to work. You go to work and you got your time on air and you got all the time in behind. It's all that time in behind that AI and all the drudgery we do to get that, the brilliant, hours you put in front of camera, and then all the work in behind. It's the work in behind in aerospace that it's going to do.
Doug, you touched on this before. You know, a lot of the big concern when you hear about AI and manufacturing is immediately people worry about jobs. Not everybody is welcoming towards this expansion into manufacturing, no matter if it's on the factory floor or behind the scenes. Oxford Economics predicted by 2030, AI and automation could replace 20 million manufacturing jobs. That's globally. That's more than 8% of the global manufacturing workforce. So given that AI keeps evolving, how concerned should workers be that they could be replaced?
Well, you know what? Let's go back to early industrial revolution in Britain and the textile mills, and the name Luddite with a gentleman, I forget his first name, but Mr. Ludd, who led a protest against the machines coming because it was going to destroy employment in craft weavers. Textile jobs are still lots of textile jobs. They moved offshore. That's where they've gone. Automation aids us, it makes us more productive. It does displace people, but as long as human beings want to buy something better, people know how to produce better things, the jobs will show up. If you look at it today, if you look at unemployment today, we've just had a long period of relatively low unemployment, probably historically low, and yet automation has come in all everywhere. We see automation everywhere. And those sweeping predictions, I don't buy into them. What happens is people use them to make more, better, more valuable things, which leads to more employment. The employment will be more, it always gets more complex, more training. It'll move on up. I don't see why this revolution will be any different than the last, hard automation coming into factories, robots coming into factories, textile mills. It's been going, computers, you go back in the 70s, your job was, if you're white collar, you're going to get replaced by a computer, right? They didn't take away much work as far as I can see it. They made more work than they take away.
Doug Milburn, co-founder of ProtoCase, I want to thank you for joining us here in your morning.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
A new movie shot in Winnipeg in the winter is about to warm up the box office.
너 거기 혼자 있는 거 엄마 걱정돼. 무슨 일이라도 생기면 어떡해.
So this is a snippet from the film. It's called The Mother and the Bear. It did debut at TIFF. It will be in Canadian theaters tomorrow. The film is about a young Korean woman who moves to Winnipeg, has a terrible fall, ends up in a coma in the hospital. Now, her overbearing mom catches a flight from Seoul to be by her daughter's bedside. And while she's waiting for her daughter to wake up, she does what any mother would do. She creates an online dating profile and tries to find her daughter a husband, like a suitable match. Guess what? That suitable match she has her eye on is our next guest. Jonathan Kim is joining us in studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Did I do a good job?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Suitable match was good.
So you play Min in the film. Tell me about your character.
He's a character who, is born and raised. He's raised in Winnipeg, and ultimately, he's a Korean Canadian. Kind of stuck between sort of the duality of, being Korean and the Canadianness, and sort of trying to find his way, as well to navigating North American culture.
I want to ask you about that duality, because that's such a central storyline here. Min wants to be the perfect son. He is torn between two worlds. His dad wants him to be with a Korean woman. Instead, he's in a relationship with a white woman. How does he try to reconcile what he wants and also what his parents want for him?
I think ultimately, acceptance of his situation, acceptance of, the cards that he's been dealt. I think ultimately that's what it comes down to. Understanding that, a parent's love is also very, very complex as well, layered, and sort of taking that all in.
There's a great scene in this film where your character first meets the mom, Sarah. She's just arrived in Winnipeg. She's in a convenience store. She hears somebody else, your character, speaking Korean. That scene of her stalking your character without you noticing, it's so funny. Like the whole scene, how it plays out. What was that like to shoot?
I mean, that scene actually, I remember specifically Johnny talking about this scene comes from like a very obscure Japanese film. That inspiration was it was all Johnny. The mastermind, the architect behind this whole project. Yeah.
The food in this film also seems to be like a central character.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the importance of that.
I think in Korean culture or in Asian culture, you don't say I love you, you say did you eat? right? And so thematically, yeah, it's something that's sort of spread out through this film. Yeah.
Beautiful. Can we talk about the filming though? This is Winnipeg. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you're from Scarborough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in Winnipeg filming this. I mean, how cold was it? It looks freezing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was my first time actually out in Winnipeg. Might be my last time. It was a little cold for sure. But this was just when like the winter was the snow was melting here, and they're like, "Oh, you booked a job in Winnipeg. Congratulations!" I'm like, "Great." I get there, I'm like, "Oh, this is not it." Yeah, it was so cool. But I love Winnipeg. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Such a great place. Like, beautiful space.
It is a beautiful
Yeah.
space. Tell me a little bit about the audition process.
Yeah. Pretty standard. Got the audition from my agent. I did a Zoom call back, and then there was like a 4-month wait.
What were you thinking during the 4 months?
I mean, just this is a project that I would love to be a part of. The character, I feel like is literally me. I feel like a lot of actors say that, but a Korean Canadian, once again living that duality of identity, right? There was just so much. So many similarities. So yeah, I was chomping at the bits to get the job, which I did. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And we're so glad you did. What did your family think when you got this role?
Oh man, I mean, I think my parents, they're both not in the industry. So they at first they didn't really get it until they were walking the red carpet at TIFF.
Oh, that's nice.
Such a full circle moment as well too, right? This film being about a mother's love. And sort of seeing their eyes light up, during TIFF, it's just, yeah.
What was that like for you? So you're sitting with your parents at the debut.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're watching them a lot of the time. Watching
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I mean, I'm not looking at them. I'm too nervous, Yeah, give me a bit of side eye.
What did they tell you after the film? After they saw
That
it?
they were proud.
Yeah.
That they're proud. Once again, with food, we got a nice bite to eat afterwards. And just enjoyed each other's company. Yeah, it was amazing. I can't even put that into words. Also, my best friends came out as well too. One of my best friends from Calgary, and it was just like just a nice little.
What's your best friend's name?
Well, I have 3 of them.
You have 3. What are their names?
Ben. What are their names again? Ben, Sam, and Jose.
Shout out to Ben, Sam, and Jose.
Yeah. They're amazing as well. So supportive.
So supportive. We're so glad you're in this film, and thank you for being here today.
Thanks
Congrats.
for having me. Appreciate it.
Ahead on your morning, have you ever heard of cricketing? Why rubbing your feet together could be the key to better sleep.
I'm a nuzzler. I grab a pillow and I'm nuzzling in all night. I need a pillow here, I need a pillow there.
Yeah.
That's my cricketing. I bet we all have certain versions of that.
Okay, this may sound like a weird question, but here we go. Do you rub your feet together before going to sleep? Do you? You might not even realize you're doing it, but there is a name for this. It's called the cricketing technique, I believe, right? Cricketing technique, and it could be the answer to getting better sleep. Amanda Jewson, who is a sleep expert, is here to tell us more about it. Welcome back.
Hello.
I'm so weirded out that we're doing this because here's the thing. I've done this my whole life, and then 2 nights ago, I was like scrolling through Instagram, and it wasn't even your Instagram, and it was like, if you do this, it's called that, and I was like, what? There's a name for this? I thought it was a Lindsey thing. It is not. It's called cricketing. What is it?
Okay, so cricketing is when folks take their feet and they rub them together, kind of like this, to feel good to fall asleep, resembling a cricket without the noise, hopefully. And you rub them together, you fall asleep, and that's cricketing. That's it.
It was so wild to me. So you did a poll on your Instagram, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Asking people how often they do this. What did you discover?
Yeah, so I have, like you, this has been all over my social media. This has been in my news feed. How to cricket for better sleep. I asked people, hey, have you heard of this? About just over 50% had and tried it. About 50% hadn't, which is really interesting. What I found from our poll results, mostly in the DMs that I got, was mostly that people observed it happening in other people, or a few would say, hey, yeah, I've done this my whole life, kind of like you.
Yeah.
It helps me fall asleep.
But I don't even think about it helping me fall asleep.
That's
I really
exactly
don't.
right.
I was just like, it's something I do. Just like how you take the position, like I always start on my stomach, and I'm not supposed to. Start on my stomach, and then when I'm really comfortable, I'll move to my side. It's just something I do.
Yes.
Why do people do this?
This is great. I love that you're talking about this because I feel like all of these articles and trends, they try to pick up on something that is already happening instinctually. So what you're describing is, hey, I've already done this my whole life. The people writing me say, I observe this in other people. We don't necessarily know we're doing it. I think what is happening is we're describing a self-soothing behavior. And actually, adults have a lot of them. There are a lot of adult thumb suckers who
I have a friend who's a thumb sucker.
Yes, it's so common.
That was brought out after drinks.
Yeah.
It was, and I was like,
Happy
you what?
New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. So that's a thing too.
Thumb sucking. A lot of people wrote me back that I don't rub my feet together, but I will rock or sway back and forth.
Right.
So these self-soothing techniques are physical. They discharge stress and anxiety, and they help us fall asleep. One important note, though, I want to be so careful. Rubbing your feet together is different than feeling a creepy, crawly sensation in your legs and constantly moving. That's restless leg syndrome that can be treated, and you should talk to your doctor about
That is, and that's a whole, had that too, but when I was pregnant, that was a thing. Yeah, it was really, it's really hard to fall asleep with that.
It's very hard.
Okay,
but treatable.
And so this actually works, like this
movement?
Well,
what works is the self-soothing element of it. So I think it'll be hard for people to pick up rubbing their feet together if it's not already happening. What I'd love for people to do is think about you described your sleep dance, right? I go on my stomach.
That's right.
I do this, I do that. I bet we all do it. Now, I was thinking about mine. I'm a nuzzler. So I don't do this, a nuzzler. I grab a pillow and I'm nuzzling in all night. I need a pillow here, I need a pillow there.
Yeah.
That's my cricketing. I bet we all have certain versions of that. So lean into what's instinctual. It's probably going to work better.
Cricketing.
Cricketing.
I don't love the name, I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of...
It doesn't sound soothing, it sounds like annoying.
It sounds like rough and harsh.
Yes, it does. But then when you actually think about it, they do this like all
night long.
This was fascinating.
Yes.
Amanda, always good to see you.
And you, likewise.
Thanks so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Up next, what actually works when trying to prevent or kick a cold? Good morning, Canada. Welcome back to the weekend edition of Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
I'm Lindsey Deluce. Ahead this half hour, we're talking Scrabble with the 2025 World Scrabble Championship. And yes, he is a Canadian. Fun fact, this is his second time winning the title, Anne-Marie. We're also showing you ways to clean your clothes and remove stains using everyday household items.
It was such a great conversation with the Scrabble champ. But first up, from prioritizing sleep to taking supplements, we're going to find out what works and what does not when it comes to preventing or getting rid of a cold.
Well, you've probably heard the phrase, feed a cold, starve a fever, or that eating raw garlic can cure a cold, but is there any truth to those ideas? We're still in the thick of cold and flu season. So this morning, we are finding out what really works to prevent getting sick and how to treat a cold once you've caught it. Family physician Dr. Vera Cahoot joins me this morning with her tips. Great to have you back.
Thank you. Great to be back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So first of all, what is the difference between a cold and a flu?
So both of those are viruses, okay, of various kinds, by the way. It's not a singleton thing. But in short, influenza, which is really made up of a number of viruses, packs a punch, okay? You get a high fever, you are sick, okay? You will have headaches, you will have muscle aches and pains, you will be down for the count. The level of inflammation is high, which is why you do not feel well for quite a while. You will be sick for about 5 days at least, and you might find yourself feeling fatigued and unwell for even a couple of weeks afterwards. A cold, you'll have some of the same symptoms. You're not as sick. You'll have maybe a low-grade fever, but it'll be mostly nasal respiratory, runny nose, congestion. And you know what? You'll kind of feel miserable, but you know, you'll be okay.
You'll be okay. Okay, so and we're going to give you tips on how to deal with it. You hear a lot of theories about what causes colds, and a lot of people like to say, don't go out with wet hair. Make sure you wear socks. If you don't dress warm enough in winter, you'll get sick. Are any of those true?
They're popular theories, but look, viruses are what cause colds. Viruses are what cause influenza. Okay, so you need a virus. That's your first thing. And then what you also need is that there are circumstances that make it easier to pick up a virus. So in the winter time, when our air is drier, okay, and what's happening is when we speak, when we cough, when we sneeze, we exude moisture. We have little tiny droplets. In dry air, those droplets, if they contain a virus, are airborne. They stay airborne. So that means if I'm sitting here and I'm carrying a virus and I'm speaking, what I'm exuding goes into the air is dry, the virus in those droplets stay airborne, you're breathing it in. Okay. In the summertime, the air is moist. Okay, the droplets are already big. And now I add droplets with my speech or with my cough, and what happens? They drop. So we're not as transmissible just from that alone. And then there's the other thing. Okay, outside, we're in the summer, we're outside. Inside, in the wintertime, we're breathing and rebreathing all that air. And then finally, our nasal passages and our immune system is not as effective in the wintertime because of the fact that in the wintertime, with things being drier, things can stay in our respiratory tract, in our nasal passages, which are normally asking for things to go out. No, it stays here and we can inhale them in deeper.
Okay, so what actually works to prevent getting sick then?
Okay, so we can categorize this into a couple of categories. One is just being healthy. So being healthy is drinking lots of fluids, eating properly, exercising, getting plenty of sleep. Okay, so that's just general stuff. Okay, if we talk about what to do when you're sick, okay, well, if you don't, first of all, what to talk about not getting sick. So a couple of things. Do those things that I've just mentioned. The other thing is keep your hands away from your face, please, and your eyes and your nose and your mouth, okay? Wipe things down, okay? Don't, when you're handling things, clean them. If you're sick, stay at home. We don't want you. Okay, and stay at home and rest and drink lots of fluids. Humidify the air so that your respiratory tract is a little bit more humid. You can shed the virus. Drink lots of fluids so you can actually make the circulation of your immune cells better, and the mucus is thinner and you can shed it. Okay, wipe surfaces down. Okay, if you're on your phone, on your cell phone, on your computer or whatever, keep wiping surfaces down. Wipe down doorknobs, wipe down faucets, wipe things down with alcohol wipes so that you're not transmitting from the thing that was touched to your hands, and you will touch your face. Okay, and just kind of chill out. Stay home. Okay, drink lots of fluids. If you have a sore throat, gargle with some salt water. If you have a low-grade fever, take some acetaminophen. Don't take aspirin, not for a child because of Reye's syndrome. So do things that keep others safe.
And wash your hands.
Wash your hands, please. Okay. Use soap and water, not salt. Use soap and water. Okay. And if you don't have soap and water, yeah, can you just at least use some 70 to 90% alcohol wipes? Okay, do something. Don't just wander around contaminating everything as you go.
Stay home and rest. It is the time to do so. Family physician, Dr. Vera Cahoot, we love having you on the show. Thanks so much for coming back.
Thanks very much. It's great fun.
And we will be right
Everybody,
back.
One last pitch. It's flu season. Get immunized. Please, please, please. Take the flu shot.
I love that.
Okay.
I love that. It was worth the last minute shout out. Doctor, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
As we all get used to the pace of AI in our lives, the need for power to run that technology is also increasing. The number of data centers being built in Canada is expanding rapidly, and so is the amount of power they're consuming. Nearly 100 data centers went up between 2024 and 2025. Some of them using as much energy and water as a small city. And the ones slated for construction are expected to be even bigger. So joining us for a look at whether our energy grids can keep up is Lisa Ashton. She is the interim head of the RBC Climate Action Institute. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I think there's this perception out there that digital technology is powered by clean power. But Alberta is trying to lure artificial intelligence capable computing power because of its large, cheap reserves of natural gas, which is one of the things needed to power these centers. So where is the energy for these centers actually coming from?
So when it comes to data centers, the vast amount of power that is required and the nature of the load demand, needing power consistently 24/7 means that data operators are looking for power that's available today, and they're looking for non-intermittent sources. So it's really about getting the power that you can from the grid, and whether this is clean or not, it really depends on the type of power that's feeding into the grid, and that can really be a mix of sources depending on the jurisdiction. So for example, example, in Quebec, 99% of the province's electricity, it comes from renewable sources, primarily large hydroelectricity dams. But as you mentioned, Alberta, their grid energy, it's primarily coming from sources like natural gas, and it's supplemented by other sources like wind and solar. Data centers, they can also go completely off the grid through cogeneration energy production. And in Canada, we've actually seen quite a few industries do this very successfully. Oil and gas is one example, but so is our growing vegetable and fruit greenhouse gas industry. They're producing their own power to really meet their energy demands.
One of the things we haven't talked about yet is water. And just like your computer, when it gets hot, when it's working hard, so do data centers. And that's why the bigger ones can consume millions of gallons of water a day. And a proposal for the largest data center on the planet is right now being reviewed by Alberta, which we know has been struggling with drought for years, plus it's landlocked. So what concerns does that raise?
So yes, of course, water is traditionally used to cool data centers. And this is really because of the heat that comes from the heavy calculations that are used when AI is doing complex things like writing code for us or helping us with our work tasks. But I would say in Canada, we have a long history of water use by our industries, oil and gas, mining, increasingly agriculture. So this demand it's not new, and there are regulations that are already in place that help monitor and manage water extraction by industrial use. But with that said, I would raise that responsible water use and the rising concerns around water scarcity are really becoming a challenge for Canada and have been a challenge globally for quite some time. I would also note that there's other options to cool data centers. You can also do general air conditioning, and data center operators in North Virginia, which is actually the data center capital of the world, made the calculated decision to use air conditioning to cool their units, even though it is often viewed as a less effective approach.
We're talking about advantages that Canada could have. Is there, places like Alberta are looking to become this, what we were just showing pictures of, this wonder city where the data centers could be housed, is our cold weather. So how much do our winters offset the demand for cooling water for a data center?
Yes, that's a very important consideration, and temperature and water use and power, they all create kind of different trade-offs. So you think about jurisdictions like Arizona, they have the benefit of lots of sunlight, which is great for producing solar power, but it's also hot and a dry climate. In Canada, we have a cold climate, which we may not be super excited about in the winter, but it does result in reducing the cooling costs and demands for AI data centers. And this is especially in relative to places that are kind of competitors in terms of attracting AI data centers like Arizona and Texas. But it's really a balance of determining what those trade-offs are. Cold climate is ideal, but also the source of energy, if it's a clean power source, is also another key consideration for data operators and jurisdictions that are considering data centers.
Interim head of the RBC Climate Action Institute, Lisa Ashton, great to have you on for this discussion today. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Coming up, we are joined by the Canadian who has been crowned the 2025 World Scrabble Champion.
The first step, regardless, has to be to choose a dictionary and to learn some of the basic words, the two-letter words, which allow you to place your words on the board.
What does it take to win the World Championship in Scrabble? Well, Canadian mathematician Adam Logan knows. He is the 2025 World Scrabble Champion. He beat one of the world's best Scrabble players, Nigel Richards, in the final at the November tournament in Ghana. Adam Logan is joining me this morning with more on his big win. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, firstly, congratulations. I know this is not the first time you've taken home this title. You won this title, 20 years ago? Back in 2005. Yes. Only 2 other people in the world have done that. How did it feel to win this time?
Well, it was really a wonderful feeling and a great honor. I mean, Nigel Richards is such a legend in the game that any time that you beat him, even in a single game, you feel that you've done something a little bit special. And to beat him in a best of 7 match is even more than that.
Yeah, and you've played him, I mean, several times. Many people call him the best player ever. He plays in, what, 3 languages? Do you study his play? Can you study his play? How do you prepare for this?
Well, I don't think so much it's a matter of studying his play specifically, but just trying to master the dictionary as well as you can and practicing finding the correct plays and choosing which of the different plays that you see is correct. But I didn't really study his game specifically because it's so hard to find any weaknesses in it that I don't know that what I would get from it.
So what kind of training do you do?
Well, I study the dictionary that is used using a computer. So the computer shows me the letters of a word in alphabetical order, and I have to reply with the actual word. And I also play games against other strong players and analyze them by discussing with those players and with the help of a computer for that as well.
In competition, the rules are a little bit different than, like when I play with my family. I understand there is a time limit. You can use a specific dictionary for reference. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And there are only obviously 2 players per game. So in terms of like how much time do you get to put a word down?
You get 25 minutes for the whole game. You can distribute that however you like.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so what advice do you have for somebody like me? I'm a summer Scrabble player. What advice do you dish out?
Well, if you want to play at all seriously, you have to at least agree on some dictionary, whether or not it's the dictionary that's used in tournaments. But really, the way that you get better at most things, I think, is by practicing it, being watched by someone who knows how to do it better than you do, and asking them for their advice. And that works for Scrabble too. But the first step, regardless, has to be to choose a dictionary and to learn some of the basic words, the 2-letter words, which allow you to place your words on the board with the help of what is already there.
What's your favorite 2-letter word?
Well, I think I have to say QI, the Chinese life force.
Right. I think that's one of the only ones that I'm like, yeah, I got that one. What's the biggest word you've ever gotten? Most points?
That was antiques for 275 points many years ago.
275 points. You hit everything. Okay, side note, random question for you. Did I hear that you just got your first cell phone like a week ago?
I just got a new cell phone. I'd had one before.
Oh, you have? Okay. So, but have you ever been on social media?
No, I don't use social media.
You don't do, how come?
No. Because it takes a lot of time and energy that, I feel like I need to be able to get to the bottom of a few things rather than stay on top of a lot of things. And using social media and spending all of my time on my phone, I think, would interfere with that.
Do you have fun when you play?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You do. What are you thinking when you're playing?
Well, I try to just concentrate as much as I can on the game, rather than let any thoughts about how nice it would be to win or how terrible if I lost sneak in. I'm just trying to think of what I can do with the tiles that I have, what my opponent is likely to do, and how I should prepare myself for my next turn.
And when you're using this dictionary, so let's say you have a word in mind, what are you using the dictionary for? Are you just cross-checking to make sure it's a word?
Well, so during the game, of course, you're not allowed to consult the dictionary. But between games, when I'm using the dictionary to study, I'll check. I might see something during the game, and I might not be sure whether it's actually in the dictionary. So afterward, I want to check so that if it comes up next time, I'll know what to do.
Okay, a couple questions. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So no, sorry.
Just a couple last questions for you. What is in your opinion, what is the most valuable letter to draw?
Well, the most valuable letter is the one that isn't a letter, namely the blank, which you can use as any letter.
Right.
But failing that, the most valuable letter, because of the rules of English, is the S, because you can add the S to the end of so many words. And so it's extremely helpful in getting your own words onto the board.
The most difficult letter to draw is?
Is the Q, unquestionably, because of the QU problem.
Oh, so you're just like me. The Q is so hard.
It is.
And what's the favorite word of an opponent that you've ever seen played?
The favorite word that was played by an opponent? Mm-hmm. Oh, dear. Yeah, I mean, so many wonderful words have been played against me over the years. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
I know yours was antiques, right? That was your big one?
Yeah, that was certainly my favorite. I think that I've probably blocked out the biggest words that were played against me, but certainly my opponents have. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember certainly one game where my opponent played organist early on for 140 points, but I was still able to come back and win.
Yeah, you are. So what's next? What's the next tournament?
I'm going to be playing a tournament in Kingston next month, and the next World Championship will probably be in the fall of 2027.
It's very, very exciting. Adam, Logan, congratulations again, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks very much.
We are talking about one of my favorite topics, laundry. What if I told you there are items in your house right now that could improve the way that you do laundry? Things in your cupboard like vinegar, even vodka can help with everything from stain removal, got your attention, didn't I, to making detergent work better. Here to tell us more about it and garment care is Lindsey McConnell. Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're going to demonstrate some of them. You're going to explain some of them to us, but we're going to start with a classic, baking soda. We know it's great for cleaning, especially cleaning sinks.
Absolutely.
How do you use it in laundry?
Yeah, so baking soda is a really great alternative to enhance your laundry detergent and boost the efficacy of your detergent. So putting half a cup to a cup in your load directly, we never want to put it in the dispenser. That's just going to clog it up.
Right.
So you want to put it right into the drum.
Any colors, like colors, whites, whatever?
Yeah, it actually great for both, and it's just really going to boost and enhance. I mean, it also works as a natural stain remover too because it's really granular. So I've just mixed equal parts baking soda, equal parts water here, soft bristle toothbrush, and then I'm just going to go in. We have a gorgeous mustard stain this morning, and just again lifting that off. And it's a really great pre-spot or stain remover before you put it in your laundry cycle.
And you can just let that sit as is?
Yes, yeah. I would flush a little bit with water if you can, and then tossing it in, following the care label of your garment, and following those instructions.
And again, obviously color safe because you're not doing this on a white shirt.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so very color safe. Using for colors and whites. And my biggest tip, just avoid putting that in the dispenser. You will ruin your laundry machine.
You're gonna need to go to Costco then to get like Costco-sized pack of the baking soda. Okay, this one I use a lot in my house. What about vinegar? How does this actually help in our laundry?
Yes, so white distilled vinegar is an amazing product for your laundry routine. It's actually gonna be a natural fabric softener, and it actually holds and brightens colors. It really retains the colors too for dark colors as well. So you want to put that either right in the drum, or you can put your vinegar in your dispenser for your detergent.
Okay, so let me ask you about that because there's usually two slots. Three. There's the detergent, there's the liquid bleach, and then there's the softener.
Yes.
So which one am I putting it in?
I would go with the detergent.
In the detergent side?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Detergent side. Or right in the drum, as I said, half a cup, and making sure it's white distilled vinegar. It's going to add that natural softness. Your clothes won't smell like vinegar after the dry cycle.
Yeah, and you know what else? I used to add like a little bit of bleach to try and get rid of that musty smell if things sat wet too long, but I don't anymore because vinegar gets rid of that.
Vinegar, and actually a great segue to our lemons.
Yeah.
So lemons are really great to, eliminate any odor. The citric acid kind of takes away the odor, but it also brightens white. So lemons are a really great alternative to bleach.
Okay.
We're going to add half a cup of lemon juice, again, right into the drum of the machine. We're not going to it's too sticky to put into our dispenser.
Okay.
And again, lemons are going to take away that dingy gray, make things very bright white. You can also do a quarter cup of lemon juice, hot water in a basin.
Yeah.
Soak it overnight. Your whites will come out bright, wash as normal.
Oh, I love that. Okay,
Yes.
and you use the pre-done lemon juice, so you can use either or.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would almost even go with the pre-done just in case there's any pulp or seeds.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
Less work, too.
this last one caught me off guard, the vodka. Now, not everybody has this in their household, but if you do, it's a stain remover?
Yes, so vodka works really well on pigment-based stains.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in right now with my vodka. Q-tip.
Brand doesn't matter?
Brand doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, maybe don't use your best stuff, just to save it for yourself. And again, just going in with the lipstick. I'm just gonna soak this up.
Oh, these are hard ones to get out
These
the
are
lipstick.
And you can already see it's actually moving off of the stain. So that alcohol, it's actually really great. Again, pre-spot stain remover. We wanna make sure that we're doing this ahead of time.
Now, you've got a spray bottle here, so have you mixed this with water or anything?
Yes, that's not pure vodka. So yes,
Oh, okay.
mixing just like
Vodka
almost
in a spray bottle.
exactly.
That's other uses. Anyway.
New way to, that's actually for odor. So a spray bottle is really great if you have like kids' costumes or hockey equipment and you just need to do like a quick spritz.
Yeah.
We've used that in our industry just to like make things smell less like body odor.
So what do you have in here?
I would say like 3 parts water, 1 part vodka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it won't smell like alcohol, like you're not walking around with alcohol smell.
No, I would definitely
Okay.
let things set and dry. Like we're not doing it on the go, but I mean, it's a really great alternative, again, to get kind of rid of those odors.
And then, so are you using this? This is amazing to watch this come out. You're using this just before laundry. Does the stain have to be completely out before you throw it in?
No, I mean, you're never gonna get like 100% of the stain out. You might. I would recommend, again, following your care label, putting in your cycle. We always wanna avoid putting things in the dryer if the stain hasn't come out.
Right.
Because heat is really gonna set the stain. So if you notice the stain is still there, try again before you toss it in your dryer.
This is all great information and all stuff that probably you have at home. Thank
Yes,
you so
exactly.
much. I love it. Lindsey, always good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Come back anytime.
Coming up Monday on Your Morning, the finalists from the debut season of Project Runway Canada.
I want to win this whole thing. I want it more than anything.
And I love the drama when it walked out.
All right, that's it for us today on Your Morning Weekend. Don't forget, scan the QR codes. You'll get the Your Morning newsletter, and you can listen to more great conversations on Your Morning, the podcast.
We have another awesome week coming up. On Monday, we are joined by the top 3 finalists from Project Runway Canada's debut season. Then on Wednesday, we're in the kitchen showing you how to make a homemade shawarma. Yum.
And speaking of recipes at home, on Thursday, we have expert organization tips to get your fridge and your freezer in shape.
And for all of you foodies out there, on Friday, we are bringing you a winter foodie getaway guide. Looking forward to that one.
Yes, thank you so much for starting out your weekend with us, Canada. We will see you on Monday.